Welcome back. So the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants has issued a strong statement following the killing of a senior auditor at the City of Ekurhuleni. Mpho Mafole, the city's head of forensic audits, was gunned down on the R23 highway in Kempton Park on Monday. This brazen act has highlighted what SAICA describes as the disturbing trend of attacks and threats against auditors, a direct assault, they say, on the integrity of their democratic institutions and the vital work that these professionals do in safeguarding public funds. Joining us now this morning to discuss this is the CEO of the institution, Patricia Stock. Patricia, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. Condolences to you as well as your fellow colleagues. What is it about Mpho Mafole's story that really grabbed the attention of SAICA and what it says about what's currently playing out?
Aldrin, thank you so much. Good day to you and to the viewers at home. I also want to start by, expressing our observation of the passing of our former deputy president. We are certainly living in challenging times, and us as a profession, we are certainly in mourning as a profession together with the family of Mpho. This incident, and I'm erring on the side of caution because we must allow the law to take its course to establish the actual root cause of his death. But if it is found to be what it is currently, alleged to be in relation to his work, it is certainly raising actually deeper concerns around, the environment in which professionals who care to do their work with utmost integrity and care, that they found themselves in an environment that is not enabling to continue to act in the best interest of our country. And Mpho, and I'm speaking from a point of having an opportunity to have worked with him in my tenure as Auditor General, was one person who was diligent and committed to his work. And we cannot have a situation whereby we can have anyone feeling like they cannot have the means to raise whatever it is that they're finding as they fulfill their responsibilities. So, Eldrin, it is actually a time to elevate the call to the law enforcement agencies to ensure that they move swiftly to bring to account those that are on the side of wrongdoing. But then also, if we link it to, the recent conversations we're having around the municipal outcomes and what the Auditor General has been reporting around consequence management and ensuring those that are found, to have done wrong, whether it's fraudulent or non-compliance, that they're called to account. Because if the environment is such that there is lack of consequence management, that there is perception or the actual practice of not calling those, that are found responsible to account, then we find a situation whereby there is erosion of trust, whereby we actually erode the gains that we've had in terms of what the democratic institutions are actually doing in the various, areas of assurance that we provide as well. But and also more importantly, Aldrin, is that we face with the situation whereby attractiveness of the public sector remains a concern. We find that professionals, even those who care to go and serve in the public sector, they also end up leaving because of the issue of victimization. And this we actually established in the survey that we ran as an institute, whereby some are actually saying that they constantly face threats when they do their work. So we cannot have that continue. So leadership must act decisively. Leadership must step up. We need to ensure that there's adequate protection and support for those that care to do their work with integrity and care.
Yeah,
thank you,
I was listening yesterday to his father and mother speak about his work and how much he loved his work. And his father then recalling that 3 months ago he left the Auditor General's office to come and work at the City of Ekurhuleni, and he was also decrying the state of the finances of the city and how he actually was committed to fix some of the issues that were plaguing the city. Speak to us about that level of ambition, the ambition that says that I am willing to walk into the public sector to try and fix things that I see that are wrong within the public sector. However, when you do walk through those doors, you face a pushback.
Yeah, thanks, Aldrin. And the message from Mpho's mom and dad, yeah, was really yeah, it got all of us. And again, deepest condolences to them. We wish them strength, and we'll certainly be there to give them the necessary support to the extent that we can. And what Mpho had articulated as well for us really speaks to the courage that we need to see coming through. We cannot afford to have a situation where those who are courageous enough to be part of the change that we need to see in our country, that they are actually discouraged from putting their hand up and getting into the system and being part of the solution that we want to see. So, and that really speaks to what kind of support then is available to actually enable those who care enough, as professionals to be in the system. Because some actually express concerns around, there could be reputational damage because of association in the public sector and so forth. But guess what? There are those who are doing great work still in the public sector. And Mpho was one of the examples of those who are doing great work in the public sector. So the system, as I said, needs to be enabling. We need to ensure that there's the right support, even as professional bodies, as we seek to find ways to continue to support our members. And even as Mpho was also a member of the Fraud Examiners Institute as well, that we need to work in collaboration, as we also do with the whistleblower house, protection house as well, that, that collaboration must not just end with the professional bodies, but also the employers as well. And in this instance, it's the public sector that I'm referring to, that as an employer, we need to ensure that there is elements of psychological safety, and it should be enabled as well in an environment. And that's why I spoke about consequence management as to what kind of environment and culture is being created in the public sector. That needs to be addressed, and then also the element of actual physical safety. I mean, if people are doing work, look, audit, it's an area where we are seeing that the pipeline as well, the retention remains a challenge, attractiveness remains a challenge in the audit area, but it's because of the perception and also the reality of what professionals that are serving in the audit space are faced with. So we then need to ensure that the physical, the security element as well, it is something that is actually provided, to people that are doing work, especially high risk kind of engagement as well.
Yeah.
So the broader value chain, Aldrin, needs to work together to ensure that we provide the right support to continue to attract the right people and retain the right people in these key roles that, such as what Mpho was serving in. Yeah.
Yeah. The mayor of the City of Ekurhuleni saying yesterday that Mpho was actually investigating a 2 billion rand electricity a tender or electricity scandal, a billing issue, electricity billing scandal. But then going on to say that he had actually just drafted a charge sheet against one of the suspended officials. Of course, he says that needs to be very cautious around linking these two incidents, but go on to say it's one thing to prepare a charge sheet for a suspended official, and once you submit it, something happens to you. You don't want to draw up linkages, but if you're involved in this type of work and you get shot, it can't be a random thing. And then you look at what's been happening on social media, and some auditors and people who are related to auditors also speaking about their own experiences in relation to this, even listing a number of auditors whose lives have come under attack. Even in the city of Ekurhuleni, three people at least now have been attacked in the city's finance department. Overall, though, what should be happening from a national level that trickles down to the local government level as well, as the Auditor General has also been raising these concerns?
Yeah. Sure, Aldrin, it starts with the tone at the top. It's a leadership will, leadership decisiveness in terms of, like I said, consequence management as well, and ensuring that the law, which we have no shortage of, and South Africa's got amazing, great laws, but the gap that we have is to ensure that we move swiftly and that there is implementation of what enables the consequence management and ensuring that perpetrators are brought to account. So that needs to happen. It has to be driven from the top. The system should enable the consequence management as well. But then also, Mpho, Aldrin, look at me say, Mpho, Aldrin, the issue around, ensuring an enabling environment, it's also one of the critical factors, because Mpho was not working alone, right? The late Mpho, he was not working alone. So what about the protection of those that are still in the system? Because work still needs to continue. what's going to happen? So let's say it's related to, the tender that you're referring to. Someone needs to ensure that work still gets done. And whoever was being charged, that there's still consequence management, should it be related, or even if it's not related, work still needs to be done. So even if this was intended to threaten and to stop the work from happening, so it's adequate safeguard and protection needs to be provided, for those that are still in the system. We cannot afford to lose the gains that we have gained as a profession, but and also to safeguard our democratic institutions, as I said, and the work that is done by professionals in accounting and in assurance space. And I'm mentioning that because we need to think about it in the broader value chain. Because yes, this is one aspect of forensic audit, but someone else does the accounting, someone else runs the tender processes. So across the value chain, where is the protection to ensure that the environment is enabling that we can have the right people that will not enable corruption, but actually discourage corruption. So tone at the top and leadership decisiveness is key in this regard.